What up, fam? Chief X, the God best reincarnated, with some more common sense science. And we having class today, fam. Some of y'all feelings may be hurt, but we're gonna have science class tonight and break down this reality of who you are and who other people are. Because you guys are confused. Because when I tell people you guys are mem educated, I coined that phrase. People are mem educated. And the mem can lower your IQ. So check this out, fam. I titled this that way to get your black ass attention. So now that I got your attention, right? My thing is, just because you are melanated does not mean you're African. Melanin is determined by the sun's UV rays in the geographical area of your origin, where you have been for 10,000s of years. That's how melanin is determined. So 80% of the planet and humanity is melanated. Okay, now, I wanted to talk about let me just define what Aboriginal is, because people are confused and people have been using it out of context for years. I explained this to Lord Abba one time, about 4 years ago. I just threw him a hint. I said, hey, Aboriginal is only for original Australians only, not Africans or anyone else. Oh, and he argued with me, but I proved him wrong, and he knew it. But he didn't change. He still continued to call his organization the Aboriginal, whatever the name is. See, it says Aboriginal Australians, right? That's what the term Aboriginal is for. And when you look, it'll tell you Indigenous Australians. That's what it's about. Only them people, not Africans, not Native Americans here in Americans, not Indigenous Americans, only original Australians, right? Because let's say why, because the definition. Let me see if there's etymology in here. If it's not in here, I'll tell you. Okay, I don't see the etymology. But the etymology, just to break it down for your understanding, is ab means away or from, depending on what context. But in this context, ab means from, meaning from the original, right? The original people who stepped out of Africa 72,000 years ago, way past your time, and somehow landed approximately to 20,000 years, just say approximately, to get to Australia, and they got isolated. And those people are the Aboriginal people in historical terms, in scientific terms. That's the word that's used. So anybody who got Aboriginal in their name, their organization, clique, group, Facebook group, I'm sorry to tell you this truth, but I just got to let you know. They even have, look, where's it at? The Constitution of Australia. This shit is all in their law and stuff. And I'm going to leave all these links and stuff. It's all kind of links that take you here and let you know that and why this and why that, right? So, also people who are considered Aboriginal are the Tasmanian people. You see? These are Tasmanian people the people that got exterminated. Genocide committed on them. Those are Aboriginal Tasmanian people. They're considered Aboriginal also. Not us Africans, not us West Africans. We're not considered Aboriginal in historic and scientific talk in terms. That's specifically for Australians and Tasmanian type people, Polynesian people. Okay? So even there, people say, oh, you Wikipedia. Oh, yeah, shut up. Wikipedia has some good sources. I'm just trying to give a basic definition because I can't stay on this all day and do an hour lecture. It's only like up to 10 minutes. Western Australia. This is a site that's breaking down Aboriginals along a lot of information on this site. And they're saying stop insulting Aboriginal people. Talking about white Australians, because sometimes white Australians used to claim it. The Aboriginal of Torres Strait Islands, These are all them islands over there. There's an Aboriginal man. It's not an African, although he's melanated. It's a whole breakdown by genetic proof of aboriginality. It's a whole site, and I'll attach this also. So 1 second, hold on. This is about to get deep. This is about to get deep. Hold on your horses. Now, check this out. This is why I say what I say. Okay, let me get to the point and make this clear. Listen.
The same thing for people. So that when you look at this genetic distance here, what we're seeing here is basically starting in Africa, the longer it took people to walk away from there to someplace else, or swim perhaps, the more genetic difference we see, but it's continuous. Why is that? Why is it continuous and not discrete groups?
Now, they have it kind of mapped out of the genetic differences. Africa, we're kind of different than the rest of the world. Is similar genetically, and so are we in a sense. But hold on, I'll get to that part. But see, red right here is Australia. Those are the Aboriginals. Those are the first people 72,000 years ago who walked up out of Africa. 20,000 years later, landed in Australia. You guys have a different genetic makeup, us West Africans. Okay, listen.
Well, the answer is, first, people move around. Second, when they move around, they meet other people and they mix their genes. It's something people like doing. And so you wind up with people who have genes that came from different places. And this has been going on forever, as long as people have been out there. Okay.
So check this out. Here's also another understanding and breakdown. You're not the Aboriginal. The people who first touched the Americas briefly was Australoids, not Africans. Those were some of the Aboriginals. They're called Australoids. Listen.
Wait, I can still, all that aside, I can tell what race somebody is by looking at them, right? Here we have two women and their babies. Now, I was born in the early 50s. The time I was born, if these two women and their babies had gotten on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama, they would have had to sit in the back, right? So we know what race they are. Let's take a look at where they're from. The one woman here and her baby are African. The other woman and her baby are Australian Aboriginals. And if you look on the scale, how genetically different are they? They represent the two most genetically distant populations on the planet.
Did you hear what he said? You and the Aboriginal, or the ones Australians, the Tasmanians, the Polynesians, the Solomon Islanders, they all have this in them, are the most genetically different than any people on the planet Earth today. You're more different than them than Japanese, Chinese, and Mexican people. Those people are not you.
So in fact, we didn't do a very good job of identifying their race or anything about their genetics by looking at them.
Right. Going by features and skin tone is not the thing to do. Now we call that lookership. But what I'm talking about is scholarship. Okay? Listen.
So in fact, this isn't much use in medicine or anything else.
So by just saying, okay, hey, they have dark skin, they mean you might mess up in medicine. Some people bodies and genetic makeup needs different things, and we differ in certain ways.
Here's the take-home message. First of all, most of the variation in humans is found at the local level, not between continental groups. Secondly,
One second.
yeah, there are some geographic barriers and you can group people into some continental groups. However, those groups are not discrete.
Let me get to this point. So that's why I was also, real quick, I was also saying that um, that's why one day I had made a post. And I said, if you, I put a Thailand woman and a Mexican woman next to each other. People really couldn't tell the difference who was who, which one was tied from Thailand and which one was Mexican. I said they don't say because they have the same skin tone that they're the same people. Black people are the only one in America. Black Americans, let me be specific, are the only people because we have been went through that slave trade in our minds is, we need help. We the only ones that say because of the same skin tone, same people. Thailand people know Mexican people ain't the same people just because they have the same skin tone. We the only people who do that here, Black Americans. Skin tone don't mean that you're the same people. 80% of the human race is melanated, different tones. That doesn't mean you're the same people. These little girls, Polynesian girls, I believe. No, I think they're Aboriginal Australian Pacific Islander girls also. I'm African. We're not the same people per se, even though race is a social construct. But I'm talking scientifically now. We're not of the same genetic structure. Okay? So read here. I said the title that Aboriginal have Neanderthal gene. They do. The Aboriginal, if you're claiming to be Aboriginal, you have the Neanderthal gene. Watch. Aboriginal Australians, again, whenever someone says Aboriginal, they're talking about the original Australians, not you Africans, not you African Americans using the word Aboriginal all out of context and wrong. Stop saying that. Understand what Aboriginal means. Aboriginal Australians, Pacific Islanders, carry DNA of unknown human species. People of Papua New Guinea in the northeast Australia carry small amounts of DNA of an unidentified extinct human species, a new research analysis has suggested. So it goes on to say, the analysis suggests that the DNA is unlikely to come from Neanderthals or Denisovans. Denisovans was other archaic humans. Like Neanderthal was another archaic human. There was Homo Neanderthal. I don't know why y'all think Neanderthals are some bad people, because most of the conscious communities are caught up in mixing Neanderthal with white people. They can't separate their social political views from scientific views. Neanderthals didn't do nothing to you. Give them a break. The white man did something to you. But you see Neanderthal and think that's some kind of negative thing. It was just another archaic human. Those are my people. They came out of Africa, then went into Europe. They African, really. I love Neanderthals, them the homies. So, analysis suggests the DNA is unlikely to come from Neanderthal or Denisovans, but from a third extinct hominid previously unknown to archaeologists. They found discrepancies. Okay, it's going down to say they found discrepancies. Wait a minute. Okay, they found discrepancies in previous analysis and found that interbreeding between Neanderthals and Denisovans was not the whole story to our ancestors' makeup. Not the whole story. They're saying that them people, these Aboriginals, do have Neanderthal Denisovan DNA. Okay? So it also says right here, and you guys believe when they say white folk have Neanderthal DNA, don't flip now. They found Europeans and Chinese people carried about 2.8% Neanderthal DNA. But Europeans have no Denisovan ancestry, which was another archaic human beings. Denisovan is in the Tasmanian people. That's why they have them blockheads. They look like they was not completely evolved. Not joking, but seriously, they do. The Chinese people only have 0.1% Denisovan. Modern populations of South Pacific regions, the Solomon Islands, those people with the blonde hair, which is about 20% of their population only. With the blonde hair, they have Neanderthal gene just as much as white folk, 2.7.4. West Papua, New Guinea, Australia, Fiji, them islanders, all them people, your Australoids, they have Neanderthal and Denisovan DNA. Does that make them bad people? No, because the Neanderthal is not a bad thing. It's just an archaic human being. But y'all didn't know that. So if you claim an Aboriginal, if you claim that that's you, those people up out of Africa, the first ones out of Africa, that means you have Neanderthal DNA. But you don't, because you're from West Africa. You don't have that DNA. You wasn't blessed. You wasn't blessed to have the Neanderthal and Denisovan DNA. My ancestors, right? So, it's just a whole article about it now. Add the link. What is a Denisovan? Neanderthal and Denisovan. Denisovan, the species, was only discovered in 2008. Okay, scientists examined. Let me see. Wait a minute. Where's it? I can't see. I'm trying to hold this damn tablet up at the same time. But I'll put the link in there. Basically, if you're Aboriginal, you have Neanderthal DNA. Plus, you didn't know what Aboriginal meant. You've been using it out of context for years. Ali Muhammad started that shit. I've been checked him on it. He continued to lie. Now y'all believe all this fall off of it. Okay? So, what was another stat I was going to show? I can't find it. I may have closed that tab. Right. Great article. Okay. And to make things clear, the Native American, these people, let me just see. I wanted to show you some pictures of not Tasmanian people, but also Aboriginal Australians, they have straight hair, black Aboriginal Australians, paler Aboriginal Australians, color varies. Okay? And I always say that these people look like this is just my personal opinion. They look like they just didn't totally evolve like we evolved because they was isolated. Just to be clear, this is Africa. Right? Out of Africa, up into Europe, filtered over here to the Indus Valleys and stuff. Here go the islands, Papua New Guinea, the Polynesia, Australia, and somehow ended here. People say, how do you get to Australia? But the thing is, you have many little islands connecting right here from China all the way down to Australia. So it's pretty easy to get there from across these islands and things. So they got isolated. Oops, wait a minute. They got isolated all over here. And you guys were doing different genetic things over in the other parts of the world. And over here in this part of the world is where the Native Americans came later after the Australoids and filtered in here. And they have, that's where the Native Americans has come through. Brazil, the Caribbeans, United States, came from Canada. Oh, excuse me. Sometimes Indians and Canadians are considered Aboriginals too. They have a fight right now. They don't like to be called Aboriginal. They like to be called Indigenous. But in Canada, some Indian tribes in Canada are considered Aboriginal also. Okay, these are the Native Americans' land's first touch because they came in through there after the Ice Age, the Laurentine Ice Age. Then they came in over there. Okay, but this is y'all right here. Oh, here, wait. Here we go. I got another very important part. This can give you a good understanding also. Where is it at? It's the
They are continuously varying. And in fact, and a climb,
wait a minute.
For instance, with these gulls here, you look at those 4 different, also present in India.
Okay, he was talking about on this point, we might not have much time, the concentration of sickle cell, right? He's talking about sickle cell. See, the Aboriginals don't have it. You guys have a different genetic structure. You guys are different people. Okay, you're not the first to come out of Africa. You're different people. You guys have been mixing and admixing. The people that first came out of Africa went around out here and then end up in Australia with the islands connected. They admixed with Neanderthals and Denisovans. Other archaic human beings was on the planet before, way before any of us. Before 200,000 years ago, they ran into some people like that, and that's how they got their DNA in them. They ran into Neanderthals and Denisovans. But anyway, sickle cell. They don't have it nowhere, all these other places like that. And look, the tip of North America is not there either. That's why I keep telling y'all Eurasians inhabited that one. That place was never like Black Africa. It was Eurasian type. And Spain was right here. That's why it's not North Africa didn't really is not sickle cell, people either. We are West Africans. It's concentrated. It's dark red right here. Right? And it was just some kind of map. He was explaining something else, but I just thought I'd add that one in to give you some understanding. So only African Americans right now mostly have the sickle cell because it originated out of West Africa. That's how I know I'm West African because guess what? I have a sickle cell trait. I don't have no kids with sickle cell, but my daughter had the sickle cell trait. Her boyfriend she met and had a child with, which was my grandchild, he had sickle cell trait. So my daughter and him having sickle cell trait and having a child together, my grandbaby has sickle cell. That tells me right there, I'm West African. I don't even have to get a DNA test. My grandbaby got sickle cell. She couldn't have that unless she had West African DNA and genetics. Impossible. They didn't have it nowhere else. Not from the Americas. We're not from the Americas. Sickle cell wasn't over here. It's over here. People in your family got sickle cell. That's how now you know you ain't no indigenous American. Because somebody in your family got sickle cell. Keep it real. I'm Chief X. I'm out.